Welcome to the Elite Universe, Commander. My name is Drew Wager, a lifelong fan of the Elite franchise. If you're looking for an orientation on this decade-spanning game, you've come to the right place. This is the Meta Lore, the 4th Elite, Elite Dangerous, Part 4. With the advent of 2018, Frontier embarked on Season 3 of Elite Dangerous, arriving in February 2018. There were 4 updates in total, the last one arriving in October of that year. New ships were added, including the Alliance Challenger, Chieftain and Crusader, the Crate Mark II and Crate Phantom, and the Mamba. Galnet audio was added, regarded as a welcome feature, but coincided with a sudden dearth of Galnet content, which became increasingly sparse as the year wore on, rendering it almost useless, again raising questions of whether the Elite Dangerous roadmap was actually a plan or not. Significant amounts of exploration gameplay were added, with the notable inclusions of stellar phenomena, galactic regions and new scanners. The new galactic map initially completely ignored notable player contributions to the game. A non-official galactic mapping project had named all of the regions of the galaxy long before. However, due to a significant player outcry, Frontier adopted a number of the player-submitted names and also aligned them to established in-game lore in many places. Night vision was also another welcome addition, alongside some lighting, fog and God ray support, improving the graphics noticeably in ring systems in particular. For players interested in the lore and tracking exploration tasks, a Codex and knowledge base was introduced. The knowledge base provided lengthy, but text-only articles on notable factions, characters and background information on the Elite Dangerous Galaxy. Whilst it was a welcome addition, it has suffered the same fate as Powerplay, Multicrew and CQC, having never been updated since it was launched. The static text is particularly noticeable. Mining received a significant boost with the addition of more mining options, including the ability to split asteroids apart using seismic charges, the graphics and sound being particularly worthy of note. This did introduce something of a gold rush, with vast amounts of money to be made from mining painite, platinum and void opals among other commodities. In April 2018, Frontier announced that the Mac version of Elite Dangerous was going to be discontinued due to the technical reasons cited before. During August 2018, Frontier advised that significant parts of the content anticipated for Beyond would not be arriving in the season. Notably, these included fleet carriers, updated ice planets, and some graphical enhancements including fog, vapour, planetary phenomena and volumetric effects. These have been reserved for future updates. Around this time, another notable incident occurred. The Gnosis, a megaship owned and operated in-game by the Cannon Research Group, was due to jump into the Cone sector. Whilst setting up the flight plan, the target locale hadn't been permit locked, but Frontier, in the guise of the Pilots Federation, locked most of the Cone sector, but not all of it. Once the omission became apparent, Frontier did lock the entire region, but the Gnosis was still permitted to attempt the jump, as only a week remained due to the schedule, and many players had already boarded the ship. The area was reported to be infested by high numbers of the then newly encountered and extremely dangerous Thargoid interceptor variants known as Hydras. Despite this, many players were keen to explore the inaccessible part of the galaxy, having docked with the Gnosis in a variety of exploration vessels, many of them lightly armed or not armed at all. On the 6th of September, the Gnosis attempted the jump, but this was curtailed and the Gnosis emerged from hyperspace with significant damage. As players tried to depart the Gnosis, they found the entire area swarming with Thargoid interceptors, which made short work of many of the lightly defended player vessels. A further problem was introduced by Frontier not removing the no-fire zone around the megaship, which meant players were fined for attacking the Thargoids, and if you accidentally hit the Gnosis with friendly fire, the station would destroy you and you would be moved to a detention centre thousands of light years away, unable to return. The event was also rather spoiled by Galnet, in a remarkable degree of prescience, or more accurately a major timing error on the part of the feed itself. Galnet announced the outcome of the event 16 hours prior to the players themselves actually taking part in it. A meme, based on the sci-fi show The Expanse, quickly made the rounds. Remember the Gnosis. After that, updates to the game were fewer and further between each release. Much of the Elite Dangerous development team had been moved on to what was then called the New Era, a significant enhancement to the existing game. It was long speculated that this enhancement would include space legs, the ability to walk around on a planet, with a level of FPS gameplay. Early in 2019, the second Distant Worlds expedition set out, bigger and more ambitious than the previous attempt, with around 13,000 reported registrations logged. The trip revisited Beagle Point amongst many other noticeable waypoints. During 2019 and 2020, updates were provided, adding an excellent new starter area to the game, the Pilots Federation District, which allowed for a relatively safe environment for new players to familiarise themselves with the game before venturing out further into more dangerous areas. Interstellar initiatives provided a level of narrative in the game, but these faded away alongside Galnet until for many long months there was no narrative in the game at all. The biggest addition to the game in this period came with the addition of the Drake-class fleet carriers in June 2020. These are large player-owned megaships capable of jumping 500 light-years in a single leap and providing outfitting and shipyard services to players. They can also jump to specific targets in the system, unlike traditional player vessels. Fleet carriers were initially designed to work with squadrons and can be extremely expensive both to buy and own. After some testing, the prices were dramatically reduced. Unlike space stations, they are indestructible. Despite their cost still being extremely high relative to other ships in the game, there has been a noticeable proliferation in the number of fleet carriers, particularly in systems of high traffic or specific interests such as engineers, mining and CGs. A series of them have been set up by players across the galaxy as waypoints as part of the DSSA initiative to assist explorers. Galnet made a reappearance alongside the fleet carriers after a long absence, and events in the galaxy began to be narrated again from September 2020 onwards, with accompanying CGs. Elite Dangerous hit its highest player number ever with the introduction of fleet carriers. By October, the Frontier CFO announced that Elite Dangerous had generated more than £100 million in revenue for Frontier developments. The next major expansion brings FPS gameplay on foot, opening up new worlds and new possibilities. Already more than 8 years downstream of the Kickstarter, the Elite Dangerous story is far from over.